Welcome. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. I am your host, Sister Speak. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana, but you better call me Sister Speak. How you living, how you breathing, how you vibing. I want to welcome my first-time listeners as well as my faithful listeners. The Sister Speak Show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas, and you will find out why momentarily. Now listen. It's 11:52 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm recording from Dallas, Texas. Everything is up. Nothing is down. I'm in my warrior mode. I'm feeling resilient. I feel like I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough. How do you feel? I hope that you are allowing us to be the flavor in your ear and you are adding us to your podcast shuffle. We do thank you for tuning in to this episode on demand. I've got a special treat for you all. I truly do. This episode it's mind-blowing, to say the least. Now, let's get the formalities in the way so we can progress with this episode, shall we? Yes, we shall. Listen, when you listen to the Sister Speak Show, you're going to need scuba gear and water. Scuba gear is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus because we go to different leagues of the sea in our conversation, and we don't want you to be lost, and we don't want you to be ill-equipped. We want you to be able to survive and be able to persevere through what we're going to be talking about. Water. Water is vital. It is everything that you need in order for your body to function. It is vital for your spiritual warfare. It helps you think clearly. It helps heal your body. It doesn't make you look like you are aging rapidly. It really is the best on earth, okay, when it comes to what we put in our body in liquid form. Let me turn this down. Why is it so loud in my ear? Thanks. There we go. I mean, I'm talking about y'all. The volume was all in my ear. Like, I thought I was at the club. I'm just like, wait a minute. Turn that down. But anyways, I am, and this is for my first time listeners, I am for the village. This entire podcast is for all shades of brown people. I don't apologize for what I say. I don't care what you think. If it vibrates outside of what is conducive to how this podcast flows, I'm about solutions for the pollutions. I'm about making sure that we pick up the litter and put it in the garbage can. I am for pro-therapy, pro-healing. I am invested in our village, okay, healing and getting to a place where we are headed towards the land of uprightness, that we are conducive in all of our ways, our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, and that we are, in a form of structure that benefits us and does not tear us down. A lot of times we have to deal with many wrecking balls in the village, and these wrecking balls are sometimes our brothers and our sisters. This is a podcast that is about, in totality, the entire network is about, with 8 segments, it's about encouragement. It's about equipping you for spiritual warfare. It's about encouraging you to keep your head on a swivel. It's about encouraging you not to be allergic to wisdom, not shunning wisdom. It's about encouraging you to be spiritually literate. It is about literally making you be accountable for yourself, an advocate for yourself, standing on the front line for yourself. Okay, making sure that you are not falling by the wayside, you're not weary in well-doing, and that you are actually attempting to and succeeding in activating yourself. If you get a debit card in the mail, you already know. You're going to call that number, or you're going to log on to the app, and you are going to do what you need to do in order to activate that card. Why? Because on that card are your funds, your resource, what you need to get to where you have to go. You need to be activated spiritually. You cannot be stagnant. You cannot be lazy. You cannot allow yourself to be taken into the leadership of false prophets. You really need to be on guard. And that is segueing into today's episode, whenever you're listening, on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Okay? The who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Crimes of passion, obsession, mystery, stalking, cold cases. All of that into a segment called The Suspense Files. You're curious. You're interested in these crime documentaries. You're watching the news. You're scrolling down your timeline. You're on other platforms looking at videos, and you see what's going on. A lot of crime. A lot of crimes of passion, to be exact. And as you keep scrolling, you run across something that catches your attention. You're like, whoa. And that's what we're going to talk about on tonight's episode of The Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Who am I? I'm Sister Speak. Who are you? A wonderful listening audience. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Manipulation, brainwashing, and satanic rituals, this man has convinced a group of people that he is God. They submit to his every word, practice whatever he says, participating in occultism and various forms of demonic activity. Their family hasn't seen them in so long, they're completely unrecognizable. This is the epitome of stranger danger. Next on the Suspense Files, the cult leader. It's easy to join, but hard to escape.
Did you know that the Sister Speak Show is a syndicated podcast on Amazon Alexa and Sonos? Tell a friend. Also let them know that the show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. Thank you for downloading each episode on demand.
Although she's smiling, she has a secret, and this secret could destroy the entire dynamic of the family. A man expects his child to be his child. He expects Junior to be Junior if he's senior. However, paternity fraud continues to run rampant. It is not yet a crime punishable by law, so women continue to get away with it, targeting men after men who believe that they are the father. That means that people believe that these are their nieces, nephews, grandchildren, and cousins. How can a woman celebrate a lie? Who's devastated in the end? The children. Next on the culture climate, the lineage leech. When paternity fraud destroys the family tree. Welcome back. You are listening to The Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Brothers and sisters, it's about to get real. You heard it. You heard what we're covering. We are going to dive deep into the cult leader. Demonic obedience. Playing Satan says. It's easy to join, hard to escape. Ooh. Easy to join, hard to escape. Tonight's videos are for fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976 only, for educational purposes. If you find this to be entertaining, that's on you. This is specifically for educational purposes only. Why? Our brothers and sisters, some can easily be led astray. And we see that they are led astray. Let's get into it. Before we get into the videos, I want to give you some conversation. And then we're going to get right into it because we're going to cover predominantly a specific cult. There are a lot out there, but some of them are in secret. You don't know it until you hear about it, till you find out some shit that went wrong. But we're going to get into it. So let's do this. When it comes to your mind, your brain, the ability to think, the ability to deductively reason, the ability to strategize, the ability to look at something and say 1 + 1 is 2. To be able to say A, B, C. To be able to discern, call judgment, see something and want to do, more research about it before you just invest into it. Invest what? Your energy, your brain, your time, your talent, your treasure. Invest. But there are some who do not reason. They are so open and vulnerable for a connection, to belong, to connect. When I say connection, to connect with power. Not recognizing that the power that they're connecting with is pseudo power. But there are some people who, for several reasons, several ingredients that make up why a person walks away from home or whatever the environment is, that leads them into a compound or an organization that is a cult. A cult being a organization where there is one leader who believes that he or she is a supreme being. And most of the times they present themselves or say that they are God or the second coming of Christ. They put themselves as a deity, divine, to where you, in their minds, being micro, should bow down to them and worship them because you should believe them. And if you're in your right mind, you wouldn't do it. You would laugh at it. You would run. You would not engage in that type of demonic activity because you know your soul knoweth right well, and you know that there's no way, shape, or form that this is God. You know that this is blasphemy, that this person is mocking God, that there's no way that this is the Most High God. And obviously we're dealing with delusional people. We're dealing with schizophrenia. We're dealing with a buffet of psychological disorders that, contaminate the thought processes that lead a person to believe that they are, elevated. And for whatever, and some of them, most of them, I would like to believe, do practice a form of dark arts, witchcraft, voodoo, black magic, that aid into perpetuating their propaganda. And it is to entice, it is to sway, it is to trap, it is to bind the worshipers. the believers, the followers, into this mayhem of fuckery. There's a lot of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, things that are done that are crimes that are punishable by law, but because they're in a compound, because they're hidden, because there's this pseudo fortification around this organization, this cult, there is this ideology of you can't touch me because I am God. Nothing can happen to me. And I have my worshipers here to be on the front line to protect me from harm. And they're replaceable. And the brainwashing that goes on is so heavy, consistent, and sick that it just manifests into what almost seems to be a never-ending story. No escape. No ability to exercise your free will. Forget independent thinking. And the practices that they are engaging in cause alarm, cause concern, will, bring out the law. Well, I'm going to say the law, but because bring out police officers, FBI agents, the news. It doesn't always end peacefully when it comes to dismantling, dismembering, disbanding, and banishing a cult. And that's just what it is. The practices and the suggestions that are made and exacted are ritualistic in nature and deplete the energy of the worshipers, while the cult leader is puffed up and full of all of his bullshit because he has stolen the energy of the worshipers. And they give it away. Whether we say freely or not, they give it away. And when we listen to the videos this evening, I hope this has not been bumping. Anyway, when we listen to the videos this evening, tonight rather, you're gonna hear some stuff that is just like, whoa. And you're gonna be like, whose son is this? What happened? You always have to ask what happened. You may not get the answer. That's why discernment is always key. You got to be locked in. But what happened? What happened to make your son or your daughter say, I am going to leave home and I feel like this is my family? And listen, there's no excuse for what a cult does. But hear me on this part. We can all relate to the disappointment of family and how what should be right over here isn't. So some people are going to seek that surrogate family. They're going to seek that mirage of a family. They're looking for a place to belong because rightfully so, we're supposed to belong. We are supposed to have a connection with our family. But the thing is, we can't relate to the bullshit that our relatives do. So we have to chuck the deuce and be out of there. And if we're not careful, we will go into some places, entangle with some things, and be involved with some people that are no good for us, that are waiting to ambush us, to prey upon us, to hone in on everything that is wounded inside of you and fill it up with their bull, fill it up with their propaganda, fill it up with their toxicity, and to make you believe that what you have been looking for is this. This right here is what you need. And because you're unhealed, because you have not yet said, I'm going to be still. I'm going to hold off on just running amok. Because, and look, some people just don't know until they have to know. You know, some lessons you learn just by looking, others you learn because you touched it and you found out it was fire. Nevertheless, in it, when you're in it, you know, you have to wonder, is this person's soul so depleted, so drained, so weary, so heartbroken that they are willing to accept anything that looks like, feels like what they've always desired, which is for their family to be intact, healed, for the pain, this, that, and the third, and everything else that makes the ingredients of their experiences to just be at ease, to not even exist. So anything has to be better than what the fuck I just got out of. So I'm going to go over here, not realizing that I am going into something 7 times worse. And although I think that I can leave, although they have told me that anytime I want to go, I can, there are spiritual snares and traps that are set in place to keep me bound into this worship, this false worship. This false idol has spiritually set webs and traps. Is going to harpoon me to where I can't go anywhere. There is such a heavy manipulation tactic that is brewing in this environment. There is such a heavy brainwashing curriculum that is consistent and pounding that I'm weak. It's almost as if I'm limbless. There's no activity of my limbs. There's an inactivity of my limbs because all of what I give is to this false god, this cult leader who has preyed upon me, beaten me, abused me, impregnated me, asked me to engage in sexual things that I never thought I would do, that I am left disgusted, but I have nowhere else to go. They don't want me back home. I don't fit in. Where do I go after this? And so it's this warring of good versus evil. It's this everything was going fine until the mask fell off. I thought I was the only one. Where are these other 13 women coming from? You want me to do what with them? Wait, where are these men? These men, like what? And this is our God, and this is what we do. And if he tells us to go left, we will go left. It is that satanic. It is Satan says. Satan says go left, they go left. Satan says go right, up, down. It is whatever Satan says. It is the demonic obedience. And you have to also hone in on the fact that the cult leader is also participating in Satan says, not only with those who are worshiping him, those who are in this organization, but there's a demonic obedience to the devil himself. The devil is all in the details. You know, good and darn well that there's no way, shape, or form. There's no way, shape, or form in your right mind that this is what you need, that this is what you would do. You know that there's only one God, and that is the Most High God. That his son, Jesus the Christ, a black man, is real. There's none else. You are to bow down to nobody else. Nobody else. That includes your peoples. Your peoples. That includes they ain't my peoples. I divorced them. All of them. Ping, ping. I'm talking about ping, ping, ping. But I will join in and say, like, my people's too, okay? Like, I don't bow down to them. I don't worship them. I don't worship what they got going on. I'm not doing it. So my resiliency and my loyalty and my allegiance to the Most High God, fuck anybody who has the audacity to open their mouth and declare that they are the Most High God. That they are going to actually try to just squeeze their way on by. Oh, never mind me. I'm just the Most High God. Just come worship me. Like it is the audacity. And we need to fill up the meter when it comes to measuring audacity. Your audacity meter is off because this right here, you need to see that this right here is going all the way to the audacity of you declaring and opening your mouth. Woe unto anybody who would want to become a cult leader. Woe unto anybody who is a false prophet. Woe unto anybody who has decided that they are going to enter into the dark world and create an organization only to have them bow down to you. Woe unto you who have kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and just completely perverted what it means to be a leader. I'm all for a leader. A man being a leader in the upright position. Headed, in the land of uprightness. Somebody who gives clear counsel and instruction. I don't fucking have the time to be led by somebody on a treadmill. You gotta have clear instruction. I'm counting on you to do so. But the moment you start talking that bullshit, that propaganda, the moment you start trying to act like you are the Most High God, you have just entered to the ring and you're not going to win. Thank you for listening to the Suspense Files covering the who, what, when, where, why, and urban crime. Couple more commercial breaks and we're going to get into the video. I thank you for being a wonderful listening audience. You are a key component into what we do here. You're a wise audience and I am grateful for you. Thank you for also getting the Sister Speak show to the 23,000 downloads. You're amazing. Shout out to all of the countries, all of the cities. You mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. We'll be right back, okay? Okay.
Vision, sound, action, create, inspire, impact, evolve. You are now activated.
Although she's smiling. This is your regular routine. What's different than any other day? You're not even thinking about the fact that there's pain behind the pleasure that you're seeking. The latest episode of Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, pornography, behind the scenes, the price of pleasure, contracting STDs, and quitting the industry. On Coming to the Stage, we're covering theater, TV, and film. Click the link in the bio for the latest episode on the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. There's a price to pay. Can you afford it? Slingshot season. This is Sister Speak with a word of encouragement. Spiritual warfare is real, and it is slingshot season. That's right. You are prepared for this. It is time for you to defeat the bears, the lions, and the giants in your life. You are stronger than what you think. And when you are chosen, you are anointed. No longer can you operate in the spirit of fear, and no longer can your boundaries be attacked. Carnal weapons produce carnal results. Spiritual weapons produce spiritual results. Get your smooth stones and your slingshot ready, because being victorious and more than a conqueror is a part of your lineage. Because our cousin David was about that life. Your enemy's plans are deterred, decapitated, and destroyed. Be encouraged.
You better speak, sister, speak. I mean, I'm just saying, though. Ooh. Are you encouraged? You better be. Listen, we're about to get into these videos, well, these audio clips for you. Once again, under the Fair Use Act of 1976, I'm your host, Sister Speak. You're listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show Network, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Ooh, let's do this. And I'm going to see you on the other side of these clips. I might, comment. I might. It's 12:23 a.m. Central Standard Time, Dallas, Texas. It's like 98. I got my window open. I love listening to the sounds. It is so soothing. Okay, let's get into it.
An accused cult leader denied bond today in DeKalb County as he faces charges of rape and false imprisonment, too.
Police say Eligio Bishop and his followers that they have taken over a home just outside Decatur. But the allegations against him and his group go far beyond that. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Joe Ripley live at the DeKalb County Police Department.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff and Chiba. And it was earlier today when we saw Eligio Bishop appear before a judge for the first time since being arrested earlier this week at that DeKalb County home on charges of rape, false imprisonment, as well as a host of other charges. Police say they were tipped off from Bishop's social media posts. I'll show you a picture of that house now. Police arrested him here at this home in the neighborhood in DeKalb County. I spoke with a member of Carbon Nation. This is the group that Bishop heads. He calls himself, this member, Captain Ace. Ace says the group has millions of followers worldwide and focuses on leading a life of principles and morals. Ace says,
Listen. Millions of followers worldwide, that's a problem. That's a pandemic. That's a plague. That is 1 million a million followers worldwide. That means that worldwide, there are some people not in their right mind. I mean, we already know that, but I just want you to listen how powerful a cult leader can be and the devastation that a cult leader leaves behind. We only into this. It's only 35. We're only 35 minutes into the show, and we already hearing the effery. All the allegations that have been brought against this man who thinks that he is God.
14 people stay at that home, professing themselves as Bishop's disciples. He has been with the group about 4 years, says he met Bishop through social media, and tells me Bishop's posts resonated with him. Ace refers to his leader as, quote, God, and denied the allegations he faces, calling his leader's arrest one of the most troubling experiences he's ever had.
In my mind, he's not locked up. In my mind, I keep the thought frequency that he is free. And because I know that where my attention goes...
Sir, he's locked up. Okay, listen. You and your thought frequency. You need to change the frequency. He's locked up. In my mind, he's not locked up. Sir, in our minds and in our eyes, and according to this booking here, he's locked up.
That's what my reality will support.
You hear the word cult. Obviously, in this day and age, you definitely want to do research as to what is going on.
That is Patrick Henderson, a father. You can tell just from his comments, he's very disturbed, concerned by these allegations, as well as this group living down the street from him. He says if you see anything suspicious in your neighborhood, make sure you do your research and report it if it rises to that level of criminality. As for Bishop, he's going to remain in the DeKalb County Jail until Superior Court sets a new court date for him.
All right, Joe. And before Bishop's arrest this week, we uncovered the alleged cult leader had a long history of problems with the law, and he has a big following on social media. Investigator Andy Parati joins us now with more.
Hey, Sheba, he calls himself Bishop, Nature Boy, Christ. Those are just some of the aliases.
Bishop, Nature Boy, Christ.
He's used over the past few years, all linked to his religious group with a history of problems in multiple countries.
He thinks he's not locked up, but we are in a state of hell.
This is video of 38-year-old Eligio Bishop, hosted on his YouTube channel, The Three God TV. It has more than 90,000 subscribers, where he regularly refers to himself as the Messiah and the Christ.
I'm the return of
Public service announcement to you 90,000 subscribers. What's going on? What's going on? This is there's 90,000 subscribers out there, and I'm just calculating that a majority of them are our brothers and sisters in the village, loose, following Bishop, Nature Boy Christ, tuning in, subscribing, meaning you subscribe to the bullshit, you subscribe to the fuckery. 90,000? Whew.
He's lived in Georgia on and off since at least 2006 and is a former licensed barber. For years, social media posts and news reports show he and his followers bounced around South America, including Costa Rica, Nicaragua.
Listen, we're going to have a good time, but I'm going to stop this because this is my show and I can do what I want to do. Listen. I spoke to you and I told you about that witchcraft, that voodoo, and that black magic, and how, this is some of the part of the repertoire to keep perpetuating this propaganda of being, crazy. Some people use hair to do voodoo, to do the magic. They use people's hair. And he was a barber. He has had a lot of time to collect a lot of hair.
And Panama, adding content to his prolific social media activity on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
because they keep calling the cops over here, and I'm tired of
We found hundreds of videos and posts, many laced with profanity and rants about the world.
being God is not cool.
In 2017, he was accused of keeping a Canadian woman as part of his followers in Costa Rica. Bishop told the Canadian CBC news outlet that the woman was free to leave at any time.
Outstanding.
He was sentenced to 90 days in jail, and then he and about 20 members of the group were forced out of Hawaii for breaking COVID-19 quarantine in 2020. According to court records, Bishop has been sued twice for failure to pay rent, property damage.
Hawaii, this is for you. Good job. Absolutely. Banish. Kick them out. You gotta go. Hawaii, you are leading the way. You are leading the way. You kick them out. Do you know that if you're kicked out of Hawaii, it's not like you can just drive to the U.S. You have to fly back to the U.S. because you violated quarantine. Violated it. Because y'all had some shit going on in that house that you didn't have no business having going on. And Hawaii was like, not today, get the fuck out. Hawaii evicted you. Hawaii knocked on the door and said, come on out. Nuh-uh. All this shit up in here, come on out. Nope, I don't know. There's only, And you got kicked out. Good job, Hawaii. Good job.
And was divorced in 2013. We have much more about this man and his wild history in this story on 11alive.com.
Follow me on a day in the life as I'm using the Upside Cashback app. So I just got.
Not only did he tell us that he is God to these people, but he has admitted he was the leader of this group.
DeKalb County Detective Monica Panosian testifies about the evidence she uncovered while investigating the charges against alleged cult leader Eligio Bishop. DeKalb police arrested Bishop in mid-April after a woman told them she had left a sex cult and that Bishop, her former boyfriend, had posted sexually explicit videos of them online without her permission. Bishop faces 3 counts of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions, as well as rape and false imprisonment charges. The alleged victim told police she tried to leave this house on Arbor Chase March 24th when Bishop told her he wanted to say goodbye.
He kept holding on to her and stated he did not want her to leave and to bring her stuff back inside. She stated she continued to tell him she wanted to leave, and he became irate and began to tell her that she was his property.
Police say the alleged victim told them she began crying, and Bishop started to try to have sex with her, despite her repeatedly saying no. Investigators say she eventually relented because she did not think he would let her leave. Bishop's defense attorney said the rape allegation is a he said, she said situation and pushed for the judge to drop all the charges.
There's not enough evidence presented in either or nor cases that we have presented today, and that all cases should be dismissed.
But
excuse me, sir. Sir, you knew when you got the file for this man that you was going to lose, right? I mean, you read all the allegations, right? And you want the charges to be dropped off where? Because we ain't letting it go. Where do you want them to be dropped off at? Okay, obviously not on your desk. That's why you want them to be dropped. Just finish the sentence. I want the charges to be dropped off on somebody else's desk because you can't take the case. What you gonna say? What type of notes can you prepare to defend this bullshit? Huh? Because the allegations are long. The testimony is true and the video footage is loose. So just finish it. You want the charges to be dropped off at somebody else's law firm. Just say it. Just say you ain't the one for this. Just say that there's nothing that you could do for him. Just say it. Just walk off the case. Listen, y'all. This cult is called the Carbonation Cult. And you can listen to, you have heard so far the egregious lewd acts and how crazy he is. The psychosis is real, right? And as I stated, it is easy to join, hard to escape. We just heard how hard it was for her to escape. He said that you're free to go whenever. That is a lie. That is a lie. You have to plan your escape. He's going to gaslight you. He's going to love bomb you. The cult leader knows how to love bomb you and prey on you. And not on, and please extract this and apply this to any person that feels that they are the Most High in your life. They're going to love bomb you and make you take your guard all the way down. That's even if you have a guard. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be defenseless when it comes time for you to leave, to the point where you're going to have to plan your escape because he's going to dominate you. That's what a cult leader does. They dominate. The beautiful part about what we're hearing is that he was arrested. That there are other people who find what he does to be deplorable, unacceptable, out of line. that I'm sure there are family members who probably haven't seen their children, loved ones, in a while, years perhaps, might have even given up the search, might not even known where to look, can't sleep at night. Meanwhile, this cult is frolicking around in mushrooms, okay, engaging in all kind of orgies, living their worst life. Nobody wins in this situation. Nobody wins. Drop the charges off.
DeKalb County Magistrate Judge Phyllis Williams sided with the prosecution and found the case over to Superior Court.
He didn't see it as a rape. She does. That's a jury question, and it has to go in front of a jury.
There's no word just yet on when Bishop's case will be heard in Superior Court. At the live desk, Claire Sims, Fox 5 News.
Joining us tonight, I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. The wife of a reported cult leader wants to tell her side of the story. Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy, remains behind bars tonight, facing charges that include rape. 11 Alive's Paula Suro just finished speaking with his wife, and she joins us live at the DeKalb County Jail where Bishop is tonight. Paula?
Yeah, Jennifer, you know, after 3 years of knowing each other, Velvet Marquez tells me Eligio Bishop forced her to marry him. Why? She says that he'd tell her that she'd then be forced to bail him out of jail if anything were to happen to him. And of course, today, something quite opposite is happening. She's telling us her side of the story.
I feel that now looking back, I feel that I fell in love with an idea, because he pretended to be someone that he wasn't.
Behind this smiling face, Velvet Marquez faced her hardest years next to Eligio Bishop.
He literally held me hostage. He took all of my identification, my passport, my birth certificate, my social, my bank cards, everything, you name it, medical documentations.
She says Bishop, the leader of the so-called cult, Carbon Nation, went from spoiling her to abusing her when she got pregnant.
I was forced to engage in sexual activity that I did not want to do. I was still strangled on multiple occasions. So I had to willingly engage in these sexual activities because of to keep myself safe. He would abuse me in front of the women.
She had their daughter in 2019, and a year and a half later, she says he forced her to legally marry him in a Las Vegas chapel.
There was no medical attention given to us, so when I actually went into labor, I had to be rushed to the hospital 2 hours away.
For years, the cult would drive and settle across Central America. Velvet says Bishop lived off of other members' PPP loans and life savings. She gave him her $3,000 college fund, while others gave tens of thousands of dollars. And after 4 tries, she successfully ran away with her daughter with no money but hope.
My child is important. I don't understand how anybody could leave their child to be with him or to go live with him.
Now, Velvet tells me she has since received death threats from Eligio and that he even showed up to her family's home in Louisiana just months after she ran away. Jennifer?
Paula, do we know, did she ever try reaching out to law enforcement?
She tells me she did, but it was very hard to track him down because he moves so often, running away from law enforcement. But of course, now he is behind bars. Now, we also did speak to a former cult member, and we have her side of the story as well on 11alive.com. Jennifer?
All right, Paula, very involved story here. Thank you.
I wanted to let that play through. I thought it would be, it was important for us to listen to Velvet's side of the story. Also, please forgive me for coughing in your ear prior to that clip. And so many things jumped out. So because, once again, this is, how I produce my episode, I want to have just a pause right here because this is deep. This is deep. And sometimes when I play my clips, if I let them play all the way through, I miss points. And I don't like that to happen, which is, why I like to have my producer's journal. Listen, please. There were a lot of snares that we heard. Snares are a synonym for red flags. And it is easy to be led astray. It's easy to be led astray. We can testify that there have been times that we have been led astray, involuntarily and voluntarily. And in being led astray, you do get off of your path. The beautiful aspect of being led astray is that you can still get back to the path that you need to be on, and you can come back to that pathway with a wealth of knowledge. If you so see it fit to survive, to wake up, to come out. And because it is hard to escape, we're not talking about just being able to literally, as you and I so freely can just walk around and walk in and out of the house and, just move as we need to, govern ourselves accordingly without having somebody dictating and dominating and leading us in the wrong direction. I think that we can also, some of us can testify about our financial resources being depleted voluntarily and involuntarily. And this particular cult leader drained them of their energy financially, sexually, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, they chose to be there. We had a conversation about what can lead somebody to be there. But when you get there, is there right? Is this right where I am? And Velvet spoke about the sexual acts, the forced marriage, taking all of her documentation that could give her the opportunity to leave. There's no way that you can start over without me, is the intent behind his actions. It is to completely strip you from your inability to move, to immobilize you, to make you infertile in your thought processes of escaping. It is to make you say, I might as well just stay, because how am I going to go? With what? What can I take with me to continue to identify me? Why is this the case? And personally, being, if you get married, most women don't want to share their husband with other women or men. And being in a cult like that was the case, where you're going to do what I tell you to do, or else. You're going to perform this sexual act. And if you don't, there is an or else. And the worshipers, the followers in Carbonation experienced the or else. And it is humiliating. It is humiliating. It depletes your moral compass. The gauge is off. It leaves you utterly almost not knowing which way is up or down. And you're married to this. Married to it. Locked into the energy on a whole nother vibration. But yet and still, this isn't really how it's supposed to be. Have you ever been in a situation that you had a hard time leaving? Have you ever been in a situation where you knew you needed to escape, but did not know how to? Was there a barricade at the door? Was your life threatened? Did you want to reach out to your family? How did you endure it? And what led you to finally escaping? Are you still in that cult mentally, although you have physically removed yourself from it? And you can liken, because this is what we do here, you can also liken it to other situations in your life that are like a cult leader in your life. Are your situations being ran by a cult leader? Are you a cult leader in your life? Do you have yourself doing things that you just should not be doing? Physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Are you dictating yourself in a low vibration? Have you declared yourself to be the Most High God? Have you not surrendered to your Creator, your Master, the real Most High God? What in your life represents a cult leader that has you bound and consistently worshiping it? Is it him? Is it her? Is it them? Is it they? Is it this? Is it that? What is it? Who is it that you worship, that you know you need to leave? You need to escape. This is depleting you. You are on 1%. You know that the behaviors that you are witnessing are not okay, are damaging, destructive, demoralizing. And you stay. And you stay because it's easy to join and hard to escape.
So much. Now, we have been following this story closely since Eligio Bishop's arrest. We have much more on the group that he's leading on our website, 11alive.com.
I needed to heal. I felt like I had a lot of mommy issues. I had a lot of daddy issues.
The Cape Coral woman accused of stabbing and killing her own mother used to be in a cult.
21-year-old Mariah Kelly is now at the Lee County Jail, but back in January, she joined Carbon Nation. You're watching NBC2 News at 11. I'm Lisa Spooner.
And I'm Peter Bush. This cult was known for polygamy and nudity. NBC2's Nestor Montoya is uncovering how Kelly went from cult member to accused killer.
We confirm from one of Carbon Nation's leaders that Mariah Kelly left them after only 2 weeks in the cult. He described her as eccentric, but never imagined that she was capable of such heinous violence that landed her in jail, now facing a homicide charge.
I think Carbon Nation was just a little bit too extreme for me.
21-year-old Mariah Kelly opening up in this video about leaving the Carbon Nation cult.
Like, a lot of my demons came out, and I was able to, realize that there were certain things that I was running away from and I needed to face.
Months later, Mariah now seen in a green smock, appearing before a judge after she's accused of killing her mother, 37-year-old Melissa Kelly West.
This wasn't in the realm of what could possibly happen. How could this have happened?
Healthy people don't usually join cults.
Psychologist Dr. Laura Streifler says while the cult could have played a role, past trauma is more likely.
It seems like the issues here were much bigger and much more lifelong than just spending 2 weeks in a cult.
In Mariah's candid Carbon Nation tell-all, she revealed signs of a troubled past.
I had been like super crazy. I was so crazy, had a lot of emotional issues. I had been in a couple mental institutions.
Kelly now locked up in jail, her mother gone, and Kelly's own young daughter facing years without hers.
So I was like, I'm just going to take some time away and I'm going to heal and I'm going to be back for her because my daughter deserves unconditional love and she deserves a mother.
And Mariah remains in custody on a $250,000 bond amount. One of those cult leaders denied any responsibility for her actions. Kelly's family was unavailable for comment. I'm live outside the Lee County Jail tonight.
She was a little bit too calm for me. That's dangerous. That level of calm after committing a crime like that is dangerous. What also disturbed me was the fact that they said that essentially, I'm just, not saying verbatim, but she's going to get out. I really don't want Michael Myers' sister loose. Please, if there's any type of notification bell I could hit to possibly subscribe to when she's loose, please let me know when she's up for parole. Just need to know so I can just make sure my zip code is nowhere in her vicinity. She's like, yeah, and so, why are you so articulate? Wait a minute. Why are you so zen? Why are you so, meditated and just reflective on this? No, I don't. Miss Voorhees, I don't. At all. You stabbed your mother to death, 37 years old. For those of you who have children, those of you who have adult children, this is serious. Now, I know a lot of you are in the fuck around and find out season all the time. I also know that a lot of you are in the I wish a nigga would season all the time. I know, okay? I know you're always in about that life season. I'm about that life season. I know, okay? But I'm just saying, your children, adult children, even young, even at a younger age, if they do not navigate themselves correctly, if they are not taught, if the seeds are not planted for them to navigate themselves correctly, you might have to change the locks. If you haven't seen your child in 2 years and you happen to be driving down the street and you see them walking down the street looking out of their mind with a group of people, you better move because you might be the sacrifice. Your mother's in the way. That's the last thing you want the meeting to be about. Okay? That's the last thing you want that meeting to be about in that cult meeting on the program is your name. We have to talk about your mother. There's some things that we need to discuss. You said she had a savings account. 5-bedroom house, 3-bath, full. I'm telling you, you're going to be on the program. And the last thing that you're expecting is finally you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've prayed for my child to come back home and she showed up on my doorstep. But you better not let her in. She's loose and that's not your child. That's your child, but your child is possessed, loose. You were on the program at the meeting. She's there to collect you. You're the sacrifice. What would you do? Once again, excuse me, I know. Fuck around and find out. My child would just have to get laid out. I understand all of the combo moves that you believe that you would have at that moment. But you don't know what you would do because you've been waiting to see your child this entire time. You prayed for this, and here she or he is. But that look in their eyes, that look in their eyes, says Camp Crystal Lake. They smell like Camp Crystal Lake. Okay? That right there is not, if you've ever listened to the vent session, you better go check out my episode on It's Close to Midnight. Someone evil is lurking in your life. Zombies. Talking about zombies. That's a zombie at your door. These are zombies in this cult, in any cult. Brain dead, flat line, mind gone, loose, hallucinating, tapping into a spiritual realm that you don't even want to fuck with. And it's real. You need to understand that that spirit realm is real. Don't make any mistakes about that. Don't shun the wisdom. Don't act like you didn't hear it. It is real. She killed her mother. Don't know the backstory. Don't know the history between the two. Don't know any of that. Not saying once I know it, it justifies anything. I'm simply saying she was calm and she killed her mother. She was a part of Carbon Nation, and we know what Carbon Nation produces. Just in the little bit of time that we've been sitting here listening to this. And when you don't pay attention to your children, when you throw electronics in front of them, when you give them anything that they want in a low vibration, when you don't show up in their lives as a mother, as a father, when you don't tend to what you created intimately, when you abandon them and neglect them spiritually, they become prey. And they end up on the back of a milk carton on the wall at Walmart. And you know who scoops them up a majority of the time? The predators. And the predators occupy various categories of Satanism. And they will enter into demonic obedience. Some of them will just be murdered. They will play Satan Says, excuse me, and they will drift further and further out to sea to where your lifeline is invisible. That's even if you throw one out there. If you do not activate your role as a parent and invade the enemy's definition of privacy, your child could get loose. And it could be a catastrophe, a calamity, complete chaos for the entire household. You don't want the enemy to get your children. You want to protect them at all times. The helmet of salvation is real. Your mind is the portal, the playground for the enemy if you let it be so. The accuser, the dark one, having the ability, the capability to invade your mind and take over it should ring the alarm. You forfeiting and forsaking the rights to yourself within your mind and saying, I would rather hand my mind over to evil versus good is a problem. And if you don't protect your mind, and if you do not, purge the evil, the filth, and if you do not announce your allegiance to the Most High God, you're in trouble. Because anybody can have your mind. Anybody. They can come up to you and dominate you with words, actions, and lure you into a labyrinth, become a leviathan in your life, and leave you for dead, taking your energy, controlling whether or not you can walk, sit, run, talk, eat, sleep, use the restroom, think, feel, be. You sell your soul. You put your soul on the front line and say, clearance on it. When you forfeit your mind over to the enemy. We in the village have to stop with the lack of activation in our roles as authority, as power, as teachers, as leaders, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. We have responsibilities and we neglect them. We do a lot of crying after the fact and do little prying and spying before the fact. You're not going to come for my household should be your mantra. You cannot have my mind or anybody else's mind in this household, in my community, in my village, not on my watch. But you know what? A lot of our brothers and sisters aren't on the watch. You don't have your head on the swivel. You're undiscerning. You don't care. You won't look. You're too busy satisfying your flesh and your lust, and you just don't give a fuck. All we know how to do is cry after the fact, rally after the fact, want to have a solution after the fact. Never engaging in the thought process that prevention is the best medicine. Completely blind.
Mr. Montoya, NBC2.
The internet made him into a superstar.
Oh, wow.
They made him in it because he wasn't that.
You saw them some man.
I just saw bro. I just saw bro.
Real life.
Real life street stars. Know what time it is. So I'm curious, this is going to sideway a little bit.
No, you good.
When you look at something like Jamestown, where, you know the story with Jamestown?
Right.
As far as back in the 70s, they drank the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, like with our people, with our culture, it was a lot of us that was part of Jamestown mass suicide, whatever. Do you feel like black people be looking for answers in just wrong places because we just don't have knowledge of self?
I think we don't have enough outlets, definitely. I think that, like, a lot of kids do this, what they did. A lot of people are doing it. They just had the light on them because Nature Boy put the light on them. He forced that light on them, a lot of them.
So what were your thoughts on Nature Boy when you first met him in the physical? Like, seeing him in person, in front of him, getting his vibe?
The internet made him into a superstar.
Oh, wow.
They made him in it because he wasn't that.
You saw them some man.
I just saw bro. I just saw bro. Bro.
Yeah, okay.
He reminded me of one of my bros. I got older brothers too, bro.
So you
cut the shit, bro. I tell him, bro, this ain't it, bro. I had to sit the bro, this ain't it, bro. What the fuck is we doing? But a lot of times I'm like, man, because they young minded, so they ain't had no experience, so let them get some experience. One thing about me, my wife is 26 now. When I met her, she was 23. No, I'm sorry, she was 21 when I met her. We've been together for 6 years now. So,
Figure that math out. Figure that math out, brother. Figure it out. Do you need to carry the one? Figure that math out.
But when I had to learn not to get in her way of her experiences. So I had to learn, like, even though I went through shit, that don't mean that she don't need to go through it in order for her to get the lessons that she needs to get to, or to even be on my level. She got to go through that, so I got to get out the way. I got to let her process the way she processed, and she got to go through that. So I got to sit back a lot of times in a relationship and allow things to happen, even though I know what the outcome going to be. You know what I'm saying? I still got to let her go through it. So that's a lot of times I didn't see him doing that with people. He was more so directing, "Don't, we not going to do this because I know this and that." You know, and that's getting in the way of everybody else's experience. So that's one thing I never do, is get in nobody's way.
Did you ever see Nature Boy as the Messiah?
Never. No.
Where did that come from?
That came later. That came with the carbonation. See, first it was Melanation. Okay. It was a different group of people, and they came for a different reason.
Gotcha.
Then the younger people started coming. That's when it changed, because he seen like these niggas ain't really about it like the first group was. So that's when his mentality changed. Well, damn, nigga, I got to do something different because I can't control these people. How the fuck am I going to get them to listen and show them on the internet that I got control? So he had to treat them like kids. Oh, you want to act up? You want to go in timeout? Get in the corner. Yeah. Get in the corner.
So what was that about? Because
that didn't happen until after I left. None of that shit was going on when I was there at all. It was... Oh, I see it. I said, whoa, nigga. I said, bro, y'all got us looking bad out here.
So let's go and jump in there now. All right, so there's, we see footage, carbonation, where Nature Boy is telling women to slap women.
Yeah.
What is that about as far as just to show control? Is that strictly for YouTube or for video?
I think it's both.
Is it like that when the cameras aren't on?
I think it's both. Mostly for the internet, but it's something going on between those girls behind the scenes that they can't work it out, so he gonna utilize the energy behind them and fuel it to the internet at the same time to double capitalize. We're gonna get this issue solved, and we're gonna get this shit done on the internet, and everybody's a double win for him.
So for the rules, what were the rules that were set?
I never seen like no rule book or nothing, nigga. It was just kind of like niggas kept making up shit as we went.
New rules. No one even goddamn coconuts.
Yeah. It was like that, I'm telling you. And I be sitting here like, nigga, what? I can't get no stability in this shit. And I ain't even been here that long, nigga.
Listen. The internet made him famous. There are a lot of people who are relying on the internet for fame. And reckless fame is what they're seeking. Willing to do anything to go viral. Anything for shock value. Even making stuff up. You don't know what's fiction and what's not. It's one big story time on social media. And for the internet to make him famous. We have to then, in all fairness, add the internet as an ingredient as to why this fuckery is perpetuated. You mean to tell me that there's a group of you all who like this shit, that think that believe that this is the way, that he is the way. You like to see the humiliation and the rants and all of the dysfunction. And then I'm listening to when he is speaking about, slapping, the women having to slap each other as punishment. It's just like, no. Your daughter, and this is to, I'm speaking to the parents of these your daughters are getting slapped, abused, disrespected, and I'm just curious as to, are they enduring it because this is what they experienced at home? In some cases, that abuse is a cycle that has been continuous in their life. So what's different? This is, I can adjust to this because, I've been through this before. This is my story. This man was loose. But it is the ability to captivate and mesmerize your followers. And he, I was listening to the former members say, he treated them like kids. And also, he was just making stuff up as he went. Look, a train with no tracks. Where are you going? A train cannot run off of a train track. It's impossible to do so. So they were all on board this train, but the train was never on track. Ever. Never will be. They got their tickets, sold all their belongings, got on board, but never realized that the train was not moving, did not have a conductor, okay, and was never on track. There was no destination. It was almost as if the train windows were tinted like limousine tint. Who's in there? I don't know. Must be somebody important. No, it's Nature Boy in them. It's Nature Boy in them. Loose. And he is off his rocker. There's no way, shape, or form that you are not indulging in some form of chemicals to keep this shit going. Some of you are saying, I could never join a cult, and I'm glad, and I hope you never do. But you might have been in some cult-like situations, as I was talking about earlier. Easy to join, hard to escape.
Notorious cult leader known as Black Jesus has been killed by villagers in Papua New Guinea. Police say Stephen Tari had been on the run since escaping from prison in the northern town of Madang earlier this year. He was killed at a remote village outside the town on Thursday, a senior police official told local media. Tari had been serving a lengthy prison term after being convicted in 2010 of raping girls and young women who belonged to his Christian-based sect, a former Bible student. He was also accused of cannibalism, although he was only tried for rape. AFP news agency reports.
Wait a minute. Wait. Listen. I'm not laughing at what we just heard. I'm just laughing at the fact that I said, listen, I find it to be extreme as well. Cannibalism is another it's another dysfunction that it just is just a lot to embrace. Like, you're eating people, bro. This is what we doing here. This is what we doing here. You got people on the skewer. This is what it is. Rotisserie races. What is this? What are we doing here? What is this about? What is this like? Why is this about? There's what is this about, and then there's why is this about? Like, what, and why? Why are you eating people? I need to know. Why are you eating people? These are the questions that I want to ask. If I had the opportunity to interview a cult leader who is eating people, who is into cannibalism, I'm going to ask him, this is exactly, I'm going to be like, why are you eating people? What is that about? Why is that about? What in you said, do this? You call yourself Black Jesus, and there's no way, shape, or form that Jesus would ever conduct himself like that. The thoughts that you have are not his thoughts. He's pure in thought, and clearly. This shit right here is a hot fucking mess. And I'm going to keep talking my shit from a distance because you looking at me like I might be a fry. And I'm not a fry. I'm kind of feeling like I need to probably talk my shit back at headquarters. Yeah, no, it's good. No, I'm feeling a vibe. I feel like somebody watching me, and I'm just gonna finish my lecture about what the fuck you're doing. That's wrong. All this shit, this cannibalism and shit. I'm gonna finish my lecture back at headquarters. Something telling me that 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 mesquite smell might be for me. I don't know. I don't even know how you eat your people. Okay? Because I don't know if you boil them, what you do, but what you do ain't right. But like I said, I'm going to trek it on back. Now, I'm going to walk backwards just for my own safety. No, it's okay. No, I don't need a ride to headquarters. It's okay. Stay for dinner. No gracias. I'm fasting. As a matter of fact, I'm fasting and I'm fast, as in how fast I'm finna run to headquarters. I'm not engaging in this shit. No, but excuse me, seriously. Can you imagine having nothing else to do, being forced into such a captivity, and then if you do anything wrong, there are consequences. And he eats people because he needs the energy. A vampire, a werewolf, he needs their blood. He needs it in his mind. And when you are off of your rocker, when you are so far gone, your mind thinks of dysfunctional things. It suggests that you do things, like I said, Satan says, demonic disobedience.
Provincial Police Chief Sylvester Collot said Tari and one of his followers were attacking a woman, tricked into joining the cult, when villagers from Gal surrounded and killed them. The national newspaper says he was chopped to death. The cult leader is also suspected of killing a schoolgirl earlier this month. Initial reports shows that Tari was attacked and killed by locals after he killed one woman and tried to kill another. The Post-Courier newspaper reports, Tari was one of 48 people who managed to break out of Medane jail in March. He had studied to become a Lutheran pastor but disappeared from his theological college after disputing the Bible's teachings. He previously said he was the true Christ and promised his followers great wealth and redemption. Among his disciples were allegedly dozens of sex slaves he called his flower girls. Before his arrest, his sect had thousands of followers in the villages. In 2007, he was captured by villagers who beat him before handing over to the police.
Against these killers in Ikorodu, who otherwise some sections of the press like calling Badu.
Before we get into that, it is, when you read the Bible, it's supposed to encourage you. The word is supposed to nourish you. It is supposed to equip you. It is supposed to put you on a pathway. It is supposed to bring you joy. It is supposed to chastise you, rebuke you. The word is our book. And it's disheartening when you hear about people going to seminary, and, wanting to become a pastor and, feeling like they need to be in the pulpit. And reading the word and getting beside yourself instead of bowing down to what thus saith the Lord, and respecting the fact that if the Most High God wanted to have more than one of the Lamb of God, he would have done so. And it is dangerous when any man declares that he is who he is not. Okay? And when you when you desire to steal the identity of the true and living God, you do put yourself in lava, and it's only going to be downhill for you. And many read the word and turn away from it and then use it for their own evil, thus taking your money every Sunday, thus beating you over the head that you have to give and give and give and give and give your money away. When you are taught the word in reverse, when you're taught the word with a curse, when you're taught the word from somebody who lives in a hearse, when you're taught the word by somebody who has never traversed, and you put yourself in the guillotine when you follow these people. And sometimes a congregation will worship the pastor, the bishop, the priest. And that is because the pastor, the bishop, the priest, they worship themselves. So I don't find it to be odd when a congregation goes to bat for the devil, a false prophet, a liar, someone who takes the word of God and says, Jesus the Christ isn't good enough. I am he. That is the devil. And when you are captivated consistently and ritualistically by the devil, He can tell you to jump, and you gonna say how high.
Their kingpin, the head of the group, has been arrested. He cleared, and we arrested him on water as he was making his escape. One of the suspects confessed, and the suspect is here, he led us here, that before they go for any killing, the head of the group brings them to this gentleman to come and carry out oaths for both themselves and this piece of stone they use for their killings, and that they don't go for any killing without first of all coming for oaths in this shrine. Assure Lagosians, assure Nigerians that we will not rest until this evil is completely rooted out from Lagos State.
On behalf of the Sister Speak Show, I would like to give a round of applause to Lagos. You heard what he said? You heard what he said. You heard what he said. Until the evil is completely rooted out. Completely. We ain't gonna stop. We are on your head. We have our foots on your neck. Our foots. Come on, Sister Speak. Not foots. We have our feet on your neck. We're hunting you down. We don't agree with the fuckery. You're loose. You're disgusting. We don't want this shit here. This shit makes our stomach turn. You're invading the village with the pollution, and we got a solution for your ass. We're hunting you down. We're going to root you the fuck up out of here. Consider yourself ejected. No, we're not sleeping. Fuck sleep. You have caused a disturbance in the village, and we are active. No, we activated. No, we're coming. We heard what the fuck you did. We see the results. People are crying. People are dying. And you out here fucking up the algorithm of the village. You're bringing pestilence to the village, plagues to the village, problems to the village. Because you're loose. And we're going to uproot you. We're on your heels. It's only a matter of time. That's the shit I'm talking about. A warrior, a group of warriors. They ain't no punks. Leadership. They have decided and declared, we shall not. No se puede. We cannot do this. And they activated their role and their purpose, and they are going after the evil and uprooting it. What the fuck is wrong with America? What is wrong with America? This specific continent embraces the evil. This specific continent implants the root deeper. Uproot evil in America? Fuck no. We love it here. We love the fact that we can do whatever we want to here. And this is what evil says. Love it here. In America, evil is in a hammock, sipping lemonade, just doing its thing, living its worst life in this specific continent. There's a lot of passes on a lot of bullshit. There's no brigade. There's no group. There's no organization that is saying, we've got to uproot this evil. No, because there are tiers of evil. Leagues of evil. Lineages of evil. And when you try to uproot the evil, you're met with satanic resistance, reckless fame, sexual disasters, many perverted passes in America, Babylon, where you can do what the fuck you want to do if you dare. You're applauded if you're lewd, lascivious, disgusting, demonic, gross, disrespectful, arrogant, egotistical. You're applauded for that. You're encouraged. People subscribe to that. You can become internet recklessly famous off of that shit. And when you speak out against it, you're called crazy. When you discern it and call out the enemy and you begin to extract and cry out to your people about it, they don't want to hear the shit. Go away, wisdom. The fuck you doing here? You crashing the party and bullshitting that we got going on here. Get the fuck up out of here, wisdom. Some of y'all take an AR-15 and you just wet wisdom up. You take a machete and chop wisdom into pieces. Dismember wisdom. Spit on wisdom. Mock wisdom. And you wonder why your shit is fucked up. Your own internal algorithm is fucked off. Why you are chemically imbalanced, it's because you are a rebel to your creator, to the word, to instruction. You take satanic instruction and you will completely barricade yourself in with the instruction that is satanic, making sure that righteousness, uprightness, true counsel and leadership does not have its perfect way in your life, in your domain, in your family, in your lineage. And you wonder why?
Just arrested another cult leader. We talked about the first one that is connected to almost 100 bodies being found. Kenya's authorities said that they have arrested another pastor over suspected deaths at his church as police widen their investigation. Isgael Odero is the head of the New Life Prayer Center, and he was arrested in the coastal town of Malindi following the allegations of the deaths that have been occurring at his premises. And it is quite alarming to see this happen in the same area with two different leaders. They call themselves church leaders, even though this is actually a cult, because they are demanding that their congregation starves to death in order to go to heaven, even though there's no such thing like that in the Bible. So even the Kenyan government is treating them as a cult, and they said that they will be investigating religious institutions.
To win a task force so that we can weed out the characters who want to abuse religion, to run businesses and things that are anti-religion in the Republic of Kenya. That we want to provide a framework agreed with our religious leaders, a framework that will provide for self-regulation so that church, so that religion, so that our spiritual leaders can have a mechanism where they can point out to government those who want to abuse religion for other purposes.
At least these two cult leaders are arrested, and hopefully the Kenyan government delivers on their promise and cracks down all these weird, bizarre institutions that are hurting the people and benefiting from them. Mind you, these cult leaders are wealthy men. They take advantage of the people that trust them, and they lead them to their demise. This is just a horrible, evil, sinister situation, and we hope to see justice being served. Anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are about this. I am Wungil Zalalam. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
The Sister Speak Show wants to be with you on the go. It's simple. Just add us to your podcast shuffle so we can be the flavor in your ear. You'll be glad that you did. We are rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas, but I know you know that already. Thank you in advance for downloading and for being a wonderful listening audience. You are currently listening to The Cult Leader, Demonic Obedience, Playing Satan Says. Easy to join, hard to escape, on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. You were already warned that she was sleeping with the ops, and you're still gonna go over there and lay your head on her pillow. The latest episode of the tour on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, Snakes in the Studio, Part 2, Two-Faced Managers and Artists, Poison in the Pillow, He Said, She Said, Now Someone's Dead. Click the link in the bio for the latest episode of the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Be careful. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. The season of you being prey has come to an end. Family, friend, foe versus your freedom. What are you going to choose? The latest episode of the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. Episode 2, Stop Being Weak. We're covering haters in your life. Why are they howling at you? Car chases. Let me out the car. This doesn't taste good. Where's the original recipe? Protecting adulterers. Why are your people scandalous? Rent, utility, and food relief. Learning how to ask for help and people who don't help. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. Warriors, mount up and be encouraged.
Did you know that the Sister Speak Show is a syndicated podcast on Amazon Alexa and Sonos? Tell a friend. Also let them know that the show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. Thank you for downloading each episode on demand.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime on the Sister Speak Show network. I'm your host, Sister Speak. It's 1:41 a.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas. Sometimes you just gotta record when you can, when the vibe is right. I've been sitting on this episode for almost 2 weeks. almost 2 weeks. You know, I am going to make some people uncomfortable, and I'm glad. I don't care about the fact that my show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. And this is not a podcast for everybody, and I'm not trying to be. You have the power to click off. You don't have to listen, and that's fine. But I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to say what I've been assigned to say with no apologies, because it is what it is. Tell me where I have said anything wrong. You can't. Am I always right? No. But I try to stay far from being left. Listen, the last clip was disturbing. They all are, Sister Speak. They are. But let me elaborate, and then we're going to get off, because I have a chocolate chip cookie waiting for me. Shh. And I have a lime flavor, all natural, vitamin C infused popsicle fruit bar waiting for me. And it's a date. Okay, anyway. All right. I was listening to that clip, and I wanted to elaborate on the extreme aspect of that cult where the 100 bodies were found, okay? That is a problem. That's a big problem. And as I was listening to the clip again, my mind started just thinking. And I was like, 100 dead bodies. And, you think about it, it's just like the leader knows what the leader plans on doing. You just don't know. The followers don't know. But there is what is told to you versus what it really is. Sisters, it's kind of like, not saying that this is okay, not condoning this behavior, but it's like when a man tells you that he doesn't want a relationship or he's not trying to change, and in your mind you're thinking, oh, I can change him, and you go along with it, and you're willing to say and do whatever makes him feel good, but in the back of your mind you do have an ulterior motive. That motive is to do what the fuck you want to do and try to get this man to change and just try to get him to submit to your dominance. And that's what the cult leader thinks. That's how they think. They want to have that dominance, and they have an ulterior plan. And that's what some of these pastors have. They have an ulterior plan, just like the cult leader. They're almost one and the same. You can be living and dead. You can be the living dead. There are a lot of bodies lying around in the congregation, all over, because of the predatory practices from the pulpit, because of the perversion of the scriptures, because of the manipulation, because of the vulnerability of the congregation. Some people are really seeking guidance, and they walk into your fuckery, your cult leadership, and they are taken for a ride, destroyed by your minions, having to participate in devilistic practices, rituals, thought processes, and there are consequences. One of the biggest things that I hate to see in the community is the taking of our money. I don't give my money, but used to. But taking the money, there are so many people who are in poverty just from the practices that are used on Sunday. It's disgusting. Now, some of you who are listening to this show, you go to church on a Sunday, and you might be offended. I don't give a fuck, because your pastor's lights never get cut off. But there are people in the congregation's lights who do. And our community would be in a better position financially if we knew where the fuck to put our money. And I would like for you to tell me, how does your money benefit the community when you give it up every Sunday? Do you see the spreadsheet on how your funds are allocated, how your first fruits are allocated in the community? Do you see any receipts, any type of documentation that shows that your 10%, 20%, or whatever you're giving is actually going towards the widow and the orphan? Is your money being taken and turned into groceries for the community? Do you have to go through a strenuous application to apply for help at your church? Have you ever been denied? Was it because you don't tithe as often, or you didn't give enough? Are you disobedient to what Satan says? All in your business. The cult leader. Easy to join, hard to escape. And when you do escape, when you narrowly escape, because it is a narrow escape, you need to know how close the walls are into closing in on you, being a part of something that you have no business being a part of, participating in something that you have no business participating of, exalting yourself as if you were on high, bowing down to someone who acts like they're on high, lifting someone to be on high who does not have the requirements. There's no man on earth that will ever have the, wait a minute, hold on, y'all. I know I bumped the microphone. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I was over here adjusting. My ceiling fan was getting a little breezy, so I was trying to put on my blanket around my shoulders, and I know I bumped the microphone, so excuse me. You already know what it is. There's nothing worse. I'm just going to start a new thought. There's nothing worse than being in a situation where before you know it, you're in too deep. And when you I remember now, narrowly escaping is serious. That means you're in some shit that you have no business being in. You're around people that are no good for you. This is not true leadership. This is not the Most High God. The Most High God would never, ever, ever pimp you out, pull from you in a perverted way, suggest that you do demonic things, require you to sell your soul, and have you bow down to an idol. None of that makes any sense. It's giving fucked off. It's giving dysfunction. It's giving abort mission. Eject yourself from the premises. That's what it's giving. Nature Boy was loose. Still loose. Millions of followers. Over a million followers. Internet famous. Why? 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 Your money, your time, your spirit, your energy is precious. Some of y'all are giving it away to the wrong people. Our community is broke on purpose, broken on purpose, brokenhearted on purpose, and misguided, willingly, I should say, sometimes voluntarily illiterate, and we love false leadership. Anything that's not going to really hold us accountable. Anything that's going to really allow us to do what the fuck we want to do. When's the last time you played Satan Says? When's the last time you were demonically disobedient? Have you ever been in a cult? Did you narrowly escape? Are you still in it? When's the last time your family's seen you? Are you unrecognizable? Who do you say that Jesus is? Are you drained? Bound? Loose? Conflicted? At war? Lazy? Are you not paying attention to your surroundings? Are you unhealed? How deep is the trauma? What do you want for your life? Who created you? Who is your allegiance to? How do you think? How do you feel? Does your moral compass work? Do you understand that righteous leadership will take you a long way? Do you like lies over the truth? Do you prefer someone to sugarcoat it? Are you allergic to wisdom? Do you hate wisdom? Do you hate your creator? Are you an idol worshiper? Do you frolic with false prophets? Do you take the Bible and make a living out of it, off of it, by perverting it, twisting it, and spewing it out, regurgitating it unto the congregation? How many dead bodies do you have in your congregation every Sunday because you don't teach anything? You have no understanding. When you were called, it was for you to be called out of darkness into His marvelous light, not for you to throw your ass in a leadership position, be it cult or pulpit, and to lead people astray. You were supposed to go into the marvelous light, not into the pulpit. Is this the way that your family does it? Years and years of backwards traditions and allegiance to false gods and idol worship? Are you really a sister? Are you really a brother? Are you apathetic? Is your middle finger always up? Are you always shrugging your shoulder? Is it always a bounce that ass season? Is it always a slang some dick season? Is it always we gonna bury the problem, bury the problem, bury the problem, and never address it season? Are you allergic to taking accountability? What the fuck in you would make you think that you could ever be Jesus the Christ? What the fuck in you would ever make you think that you could be the most high God? What? Why are your brain cells on 1%? Why do other people think for you? Why are you always asking people what you should do? How many more people are you going to get advice from? How long are you going to wear that fragrance? It stinks. What fragrance am I wearing? You're wearing vulnerability and it stinks. You keep wearing lack of accountability and that shit stinks. That shit don't smell good. You're funky. You smell like a whole bunch of bounce that ass. How long are you going to continue to mock and label people crazy who are in their right mind? How long are you going to keep scrolling past informative messages that are really designed for you to listen to, but you're so busy living in the fast life that you don't give a fuck? How long are you going to continue to denounce that Jesus is Lord? How long are you going to stay in these dumbass, stupid, non-productive, antichrist organizations? There's only one leader. There is only one Most High God. We don't need you. We've got who we need. It's only one wise and true living God. There's no man or woman on this earth that could ever trick me out of that position of belief and allegiance. And until our brothers and sisters form an allegiance to their Creator, we will continue to call good bad and bad good. We will continue to make people internet famous. You see the bullshit. Here you are grinding righteously, hustling righteously, allowing your passion and your purpose to manifest organically. And then you click on your timeline and you scroll and you see some shit, and this person has blown up because good is bad and bad is good. And that bad that is called good goes viral. And we live in a world where people who make that type of shit go viral have viruses inside of them. That's why that shit goes viral. You have to have what they have inside of them in order for it to pop. You have to be in the familiar spirit range to say that shit right there goes hard when it really goes soft. That shit right there is popping and there's no kernels. That's what's up when there's zero gravity. You making bad be good and go viral because you have a virus. And it is frustrating to see what people are on, what people want, what entertains them. They don't want education. They want to be the next it, the next God that you worship. Your mind is a terrible thing to let perish, to do away with. I love being wise. I love being alert. I love discernment. I love paying attention to details. I love being able to see what you're really trying to put in front of my face. I have had to walk away from some places that were cultish, that gave off the remnants and fragrance and mist of occultism. The practices, the people, the problems, the war. All I want is genuine, righteous leadership. And I will not follow anything else but that. A cult leader has a level of power that is recklessly dangerous, and this power throughout time has devastated and destroyed lives. Because people believe recklessly. They follow recklessly. It's amazing and disheartening how many people won't give the Creator their allegiance. Whoa. That's the only thing I can say is whoa. Brothers and sisters, the time has been well spent. It truly has. You are a wonderful listening audience. Your level to engage and your capacity to listen to me is a blessing, and I thank you. I don't take it lightly. I thank you for bringing your scuba gear this evening. I thank you for diving into leagues of the sea with me this evening. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the perspective. I thank you for being warriors. Thank you for mounting up. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for supporting. If you're interested in supporting the Sister Speak show, you can at SPEAKSISTA 76 at Cash App. Okay? If you want to support the show, you like what the content, it's helping you, it's moving you. If you just want to continue, just whatever you feel led to do, okay? I appreciate you. I don't take back anything that I said. I meant every word of it, and hopefully the village will see that there is a solution for the pollution, and it's called run. Run. Run away from false allegiances, false loyalty before it's too late, because it is easy to join and hard to escape. The last thing you want to do is have demonic disobedience. The last thing that you want to do is be playing Satan says. Okay? Spiritual warfare is real. It is real. And some people don't make it home. They don't. There are some people who will never be seen again because they like it there. They like the cult. They like the environment. Good, bad, ugly, and abusive. Their family will never see them again. Ever. Heavy, isn't it? The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge. My shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, because in due season they shall be cut down like the withered herb. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against my wonderful listening audience shall prosper. The devil is already defeated. Keep your foot on the enemy's neck at all times. Make sure your head is on the swivel. Remove the vulnerability. Remove the despotism. Learn to be still. Learn to still away. Learn who you are. Gain Christ's confidence so you don't have to be scattered and slaughtered. Protect your home. Raise your home. Instill power, righteous power into your home. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord. Warriors, mount up.